Hi, it's Quinn. I am here today because I've been having a really hard time coming up with a video or even just filming it and editing it and feeling good about putting out a video. So this is going to be a wrap-up video and also kind of like what's next on my TBR. Since starting this channel with Ivy and Bassie, I finished American Like Me, Reflections on Life Between Cultures. It's edited by America Ferrera and E. Case Dumont, and contributors include Kumail Nanjiani, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Issa Rae, Roxane Gay, Martin Sensmeyer, Jeremy Lin. So a lot of really cool people talking about their experiences, and I highly recommend it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I also finished listening to Becoming by Michelle Obama on audiobook. I actually listened to it through the Libby app because I checked it out through my library. And I highly recommend the audiobook. She narrates it, and I think she's a great storyteller. She was a good narrator. If you have it on the regular speed, it's kind of slow. So I upped the speed up to 1.25, and that worked for me. I found 1.5 too fast, but that's just typically how I feel when listening to audiobooks anyway. So you find your speed that you're comfortable listening at, and then you should be good to go. I finished the Gwenpool series. So I finished the final volume, and it was very emotional. I wasn't expecting to cry at the end. I'll hopefully be posting reviews for each of these books that I've read or listened to. I just haven't had the chance to really do it and be satisfied with it. So this is kind of a placeholder for now. I also finished the third volume of Space Boy by Stephen McCraney. It's a really great series. I highly recommend it. The fourth volume's coming out, I think, July 9th. I think. So that's a recommend. And I also got that through the library. I tried to read a book called Everyday Bicycling. It's by Ellie Blue. It's a nonfiction book about bicycling, but I think I'm going to DNF it. Nothing against Ellie Blue. I think the writing is great, but I just don't feel like reading an instructional book about bicycling. And now for current reads. I am currently reading The Exorcist on Kindle on my phone, which means I can't show it to you because I'm filming on my phone. The prologue felt kind of pointless to me, which was frustrating because I like to read prologues because I believe authors put them there for a reason, and this one felt unnecessary, and I'll get to that when I ultimately finish and review the book. And then this is a throwback to my childhood, but I'm reading a Nancy Drew book called The Ringmaster's Secret. I'm actually reading it because keyword ringmaster. I'm reading this for my work in progress. I just want to read about different books that incorporate circus, so I'm not reading the whole Nancy Drew series. I know the premise of Nancy Drew, and I read these out of order as a kid, so I feel comfortable reading them out of order now. I just want to see how different books handle circus tropes, and that's part of my journey with The Ringmaster's Secret. On my to-be-read, I have a couple of more children's books. This is called A Calendar Mysteries. I used to read the A to Z mysteries when I was a kid, but I guess this is a spin-off by the same author. It's called January Joker. It came up when I was looking through my library database for circus stories, so I'll be interested to see how this handles the circus, because the cover doesn't really tell me much, but if not, then I just get a nostalgia read. And then also I have these Gravity Falls books called Pining Away and Once Upon a Swine. I'm reading them because the aesthetic I'm going for in my work in progress is very much Gravity Falls or Star versus the Forces of Evil, Steven Universe, just that weird, quirky, magical realism. So I thought it wouldn't hurt to read these. It looks like they're retellings of episodes, so that'll be fun. The next book on my to be read list is I Wanna Be Where You Are by Christina Forrest. This is her debut novel. I got it from the library. I randomly came across a promotion for this book on Twitter, and so I was intrigued. It's about a girl named Chloe, and she wants to go to a dance school across the country, but her mom won't let her. So she enlists her neighbor, and they go on a road trip across the country. And it's a romance, so I'm guessing they're gonna fall in love, and it's probably going to be really cute. I hope so. It sounds like a really cute story. It's a YA book, so if you like YA and or romance, I'd say check it out. Next up is Beloved by Toni Morrison. I was actually supposed to be traveling this weekend, and I was going to bring Beloved with me, just because why not? I read this for a class, and I wanted to reread it, and I didn't want to bring any library books with me while traveling, just because it makes me nervous. I ended up being sick this weekend, so I didn't travel, but I would still like to read Beloved. These books are less fun. I really want to be a comedy writer, and so I have these books that I want to read while I'm actually going out and performing comedy, and hopefully the combination will help me improve my performance and my writing skills. I know that just reading won't help me because part of learning any art is doing the art. So these are my final TBR. So the first up is The Upright Citizens Brigade, The Upright Citizens Brigade comedy improvisation, man. It's for comedy improv. It's by Matt Besser and Ian Roberts and Matt Walsh. They are three of the founding members of the Upright Citizens Brigade comedy group, along with Amy Poehler, and I can't remember if anybody else founded the group with them, but I know that those four are the big players. They are the key players. Next up, I have two from the same author. They're actually kind of old, so I imagine they're a little bit outdated because comedy has changed a lot. The first is The Comedy Bible by Judy Carter, and then Stand-Up Comedy by Judy Carter. I'll still read those, but I'll take everything with a grain of salt just because they are old. One of these was published in the 80s. I can't remember which one. It might be The Comedy Bible. No, this one was published 2001, which is still fairly old for a book at this point. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, this one was 1989, so stand-up has definitely changed since then. It uses Roseanne Barr as an example somewhere on the cover or some promotional blurb within the book, and yeah, Roseanne Barr's she's not a great standard at all, so taking it with a grain of salt. And then this final one, this is, I found this new at Barnes & Noble. That's not actually saying much because you can get The Comedy Bible and Mastering Stand-Up new at Barnes & Noble. But I'm hoping, is this more recent? I should just check. Jeez. 2018. So this is very recent. It's called Mastering Stand-Up. It's by Stephen Rosenfield. I'll still probably take it with a grain of salt just because he's a man. And I've just noticed sometimes men have too edgy of stand-up sets for me personally, so I need to not take everything this person says as law. And actually, I have one more. This book's pretty old too. It was published in 1991. It's called Improv Comedy by Andy Goldberg. My understanding, it just talks about games and strategies for improv. Like stand-up, like the rest of comedy, improv has changed quite a bit just because of cultures have changed, and the art has to change with it. That's all I have for you today. If you liked this video, please leave a like, hit subscribe, ring the bell, do what you gotta do. That was too not organic. So just do what you gotta do, and I'll see you next time.